I'm live. Oh, let's see. Ooh, it is 12:22 a.m. Uh, on January 2nd, 2026. That's a.m. Eastern Time, New York, USA. And oh boy, hey, I finally figured out the light here. I've had to move again, so this is now. Yeah, my studio goes wherever I go. Uh, and I'm working with almost nothing. So here we are. Yeah, I did get bad news. I think I said it last time. Band member of mine, it's sad, decided to stop taking chemo. So he's on hospice. Stupid freaking cancer. Anyway, yeah, I know. I've, I've had many taken from me because of it. Uh, I do appreciate anybody who follows me on X. Some people do like and repost my videos. I appreciate that. Hello, friends in Australia, New Zealand. Always okay to jump in chat whenever you like. No, I probably won't be doing a lot of dancing. I know. I might be half dressed though at some point. Yeah, I know. I'm a fatty. I'm a chubster. Well, I can't do physical activity properly. Yes, many doctors would frown upon that actually. And I don't have a way to get to the local Y so I can swim, which is basically the only exercise I can really do that doesn't uh, agitate, yeah, my failing body, sadly. I did. This is see, I dropped some personal stuff because I'm a person, like a real human being. I am a hockey lover. It would be hard for people to spend any amount of time near me without actually like being fully aware of the fact that I love ice hockey. It's just isn't. Yes, I go out of my way in many aspects to make sure that I can watch or listen to ice hockey. And for the past, maybe 6 years, when it comes to the Winnipeg Jets, I've had to listen. But now I can manage with the very little that I have, and I actually have to forego something. I have to give something up in order to pay for ESPN Plus so that I can get the Jets out of market games. There are other games I can watch too, so I watch other games. But yeah, I the program I'm in, they did a vote. I was not there that day. I was having a procedure done, medical, and apparently I'm the most musical. All right, yeah, that sounds about right. I appreciate that. Got voted, recognized for my musical prowess. Very nice. So, um, all right, I need to kind of like reiterate what I was talking about in my last post. Yeah, a lot of dancing. The dancing stuff and the music is for now going to have to be on hold because uh, I'm having far more struggles walking than I have before. And yeah, I've got osteoarthritis and it's pretty aggressive. And I am scheduled on February 2nd to get a new hip. Unfortunately, I also have a sliding hernia and yeah, another issue, which well, it could be cancer, but we're trying to figure that out. I have to get a thyroid sonogram. I have a nodule. I don't know. Just whatever. I have many specialists, and trying to coordinate all of it is just like I can't. I mean, yeah, I'm fumbling through the American medical system and I'm losing ground. So, that's just how it is. I look tired because I am tired, but I'm going to reiterate a couple things. I accidentally called Stanimal from the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah. Well, at first I call him Lane Stanley, and I'm like, oh, wait, that's music related. And then Morgan Stanley, because Morgan Stanley is, I don't know if it's still around, but uh, used to be anyway, a financial group, Morgan Stanley. It's not Morgan Stanley, it's Morgan Barron and Logan Stanley. So, yes, I do make some blunders and mistakes just because I have a lot on my mind and I do a lot of ice hockey tracking. And yeah, I, I even typed it in my tags, Morgan Stanley. But anyway, yeah, Stanimal. Yeah, we lost again. The Jets did, and unfortunately, it's not. It doesn't. The loss doesn't really hit as hard because it's like, well, we've been losing. I mean, and even though we were scoring, the third period kind of fell in on us, and there you have it. We lost. So we were ahead 4-1, and then we lost. Well, here's something that I want to mention is that, people want to look at things one sidedly. That can also happen at some point when the Jets play. Okay. It's like some teams, it is possible that you can go in to the third period of an NHL game being down 4-1 and end up winning whatever it was, 6-4, 5. I don't know. I kind of lost track. I think it was 6-5. Yeah. So we were ahead, but then things started breaking down in the third period. And I'm just gonna say, yes, I am. I'm gonna say what I say about goaltending because a lot of you just don't understand. You don't know the history of the position. Okay. Uh, I've nerded out on ice hockey for years, and I spend a lot of time listening to the people who were born before me. So I was born in 72. Like the whole history, anybody I can talk to who, knows any book I can read, any documentary, any, interviews that I can do, anyone I can listen to who, had a part of the National Hockey League before, I was born, and I think it was the World Hockey League or whatever. Yes, I mean it's changed a bit, but the, I'm gonna say yes. Eric Comrie did not have a really good game. This is true, but this is a freaking team, people. Okay, Hellebuck, just it is absolutely. See, a lot of people were on chats and after the fact who want to say it was ridiculous that they didn't play Hellebuck, and that's just like, well, look, Helly can't play every single game, people. I mean, some of you getting riled up and upset over things that learn the game, learn the NHL, learn what happens in the NHL. Okay? No goalie can play all the games. None of them. Hellebuck had been playing consecutive games, and I don't care what anybody says, I know his game. In the last two games, he was a little off. I really didn't want anybody to push that. And Comrie was getting cold. Okay, there are people, I've seen the same guy on some of these chats. He just repeats the same thing. He says, well, what do you call it? Backup goalies are supposed to be ready. That's their job. No, 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 no. Okay, the team has to provide a way for backup goalies to get practice. And in an Olympic year, almost nobody gets practice. Including backup goalies. And goalies, when they start getting cold, right, it takes them a while to warm up, and it can take, a whole game or two. I don't give a shit what your mouths and fingers want to say. I know better than you guys do about this position, about guys who have played this position at the pro and semi-pro. Okay, and I'm telling you, Comrie was getting cold, and it's not a good idea to have your backup cold because, heaven forbid, Hellebuck get injured. Okay, it was basically a warm-up game. No, there's no way that goalies get practice. Teams get very little practice in a compressed schedule. That's another reason with the Olympics, I say no. I don't agree with it. And I'm not going to change my mind about it. Even if you want to get online and call me names and bully me, and anybody else want to send me a death threat? Like I care. Like, if you really want to do it, come on, man. You'd be doing me a favor. I'm definitely not afraid to die. Okay, I admit Eric Comrie definitely did not have the best game of his life. Okay, but it was the whole team in the third period. Just, it started breaking down. And the Leafs need points too. And the Leafs started noticing where we were breaking down. And they took full advantage of it. Okay. I think that a lot of fans and even press, okay, some of this was some of the comments, the angst, the behavior, the frustration, the upsetness comes from the fact that we can't control what happens on ice. Many of us, many of you, I can't put myself in that category, but many of you, you want to control what happens on ice, and you don't have that kind of power. And not having control over something definitely causes you emotional distress. I've been a hockey fan since 78, and I gotta be honest with you. Okay, there are people who can tell you, and I'm sure some Jets 1.0 people can tell you. Okay, like the Washington Capitals playing over there in the Devil's Trap. Yeah, it was like a good solid 15 years. Nary did we see the playoffs, and then when we did, like, yeah, we totally just. And then it was another like 10 years. Okay, and I remember being in that building on Tuesdays with I got the whole section to myself. But I was one of those people who was just like, yeah, go, cheering them on, because fans, okay, you can do one thing. You can cheer them on, and maybe you can spark them up. And some of us have been with franchises where we're cheering them on like for 5 straight seasons until they finally make the playoffs. And then we just keep going. And then, finally we, got to the final round and got kicked out. Okay. Just think about the fact that a lot of you are reacting because you think that for some reason you should have control over what happens on ice. And that's not true. Okay. Now, if you pay to see an NHL game, you should see competitive ice hockey. And the one thing I can say about the Winnipeg Jets is that, there is compete coming out of some of these guys. And in essence, all of them, just maybe not all at the same time. There's still a chance they can make the playoffs. I got to be honest, the odds are decreasing. But the general build of it, they're built for playoffs. Okay? I know the difference. I've seen franchises build, and the Washington Capitals is one of them. They were building to win in the regular season. And that they did. But they were in no way built for the playoffs. And so they had to do almost an entire rebuild before they could get into the playoffs again and, try and go for the cup. It took 35 some years, I don't even know, to win the cup. This is ice hockey, people. That's hockey. Your team can have a surprisingly good year or a surprisingly not so good year. Learn to understand that. In the case of the Winnipeg Jets, it's like, hey, at least you guys got your hockey back, man. Okay? Don't be franchise killers. So yes, they've been selling out. This is good. Okay? You do want to continue to support. And like I said, if you really want some kind of control over what happens on ice, well then cheer for them really loudly when the building gets quiet, Winnipeg. Okay? I live in Maryland. Financially bereft because healthcare in the United States costs a small fortune. And I don't have family, they're all dead. Okay? But, I did some maneuvering just so that I'm going without something, just so that I can watch the games on ESPN. I also did find something. I said something a while ago that says I got the ESPN network. I'm wrong. Or the NHL network, and I'm wrong. It's not. It's the NHL channel on Roku. Yeah, I was wondering. I kept trying to find on the fly. So the streaming service, yeah, I have to pay for extra streaming service, so I couldn't watch tonight's game, but I could listen to it on 680 CJOB. And I will say that, post game, here's the thing. Like, I can almost hear exasperation in someone's voice. You gotta play Hellebuck. No. The coach doesn't have to play Hellebuck. Hellebuck has been playing quite a few games consecutively. Anybody, you know what's ridiculous? People who think that Connor Hellebuck can play each and every single game through the entire season is ridiculous. That's not hockey smart. But we needed a win. Yes, we've needed a win for quite some time. The man is allowed to have a rest day or two. Eric Comrie needs to get in so that he doesn't get cold, and he was getting cold. Okay? You listen to goaltenders before you really start talking like you know what you're saying. Listen to interviews. I've listened to thousands of them. I've read books. I've talked to goaltenders who've played pro and semi-pro. They have to get into a rhythm. That was a warm-up game for Eric Comrie because he was starting to get cold. And I don't care what anybody says, Hellebuck was starting to get tired because I know his game. And I could tell he was not as sharp the last two games. So it was time, ladies and gentlemen, to let Comrie play in the blue paint. And if you don't like it and you want to whine about decisions that are actually good decisions, then maybe you need to step back and not cover the National Hockey League. Because no goalie should play that many games consecutively. Plus, they were back to back. Plus, you don't want your backup goalie to get cold. Because if your backup goalie is cold and your starting goalie gets injured, well, then you're really in a pickle. That's not hockey smart. It takes a couple few games for any goalie to warm up and find their rhythm. Okay, like look up Mark TAMPERED and listen to all of his interviews. Okay, listen to Ole Kolzig and all of his right. Listen to Cam Ward. Okay, like these are goalies that have retired. Okay, like go jump online and yes, Kevin Weeks is very accessible. Start sending Kevin Weeks some questions on X. Okay, start finding some goalies who have played, and they're gonna tell you when you sit game after game after game, you start to get cold. Now, this guy's like, oh, well, it's their job to practice. I'm like, no. It's the National Hockey League's job and the franchise's job to give practice time to goalies. 15 years ago, there were still two teams in the NHL. Their goalies didn't practice. They did not give their goalies opportunities to practice. Okay? I'm going to speak up and I'm going to run my mouth about that position. And no, I am not going to back down because I do know better than billions of people on this planet when it comes to that position, and particularly in the NHL. Hellebuck will be back in tomorrow. Sometimes coaches will leave a player, and sometimes they will pull a goalie who's getting scored on a lot. Okay, but the problems really didn't start happening until the third period. And maybe Comrie made some kind of gesture to the bench, like just You don't need to mercy pull me. I'll just take the loss. I mean, there's communication you don't see and understand happening all the time on NHL ice. And a lot of it's not verbal. Okay, but the team is also collapsing. So win as a team, lose as a team. And the one thing that I certainly don't want any of the Jets to do is run around with this mentality that they can be saviors and heroes. When in fact, no, the way you be a savior and hero is you stick to the game plan and you play the way you're supposed to play. Because some of these guys, I'm sure, are very, very tempted to try and like take the whole thing on. And that's when mistakes start getting made. And that's when guys start getting confused because they're not playing to the structure. I mean, it might be a good idea to sit Perfetti. If somebody was trying to say he's doing better, and I'm just thinking, no, he's having struggles. I mean, from what I understand, he was a center in first place. It's like I said last one. Maybe if you're going to have him on wing, maybe he's playing on the wrong side. Jonathan Toews is good at setting guys up. If they can't finish, what do you want him to do? Jonathan Toews is really good on the faceoffs. But if the team can't respond to get that puck after it's won, what do you want him to do? There are a lot of people, and you just want to be brutal, and you just want to say things. This guy sucks, and that guy sucks, and that guy didn't do that, and this guy didn't do that. That's what kills franchises, people. I love ice hockey. I'm on the I love ice hockey. I'm on team I love ice hockey. So if they're going to have a struggling year, I mean, the losing streak could go the entire rest of the year, and I would still do everything I can to be ready at game time to watch the game. Okay? Don't be all walking around here think that you guys are so fucking special. That your team has to, be better than everyone and play better than everyone. They're struggling. Which is why I sure as fuck wouldn't want any of them looking at their social media or even, or paying attention to a lot of it. What if there's no one to blame? What if it's just one of those seasons, compressed schedule, people got things going on? What if it's just that? Okay, and if you are going to be a fan of the Winnipeg Jets, they're a National Hockey League team, well, then you got to let go of the people who get traded. This is the cold, hard, freaking reality of National Hockey League ice hockey. Ehlers ain't coming back. No, we're not going to put Comrie on waivers so we can try and convince some other person to come here and get shit on because he's not Connor Hellebuck. A lot of you people think that the minute the Schmelties rookies step on blue paint from wherever they're coming from, they're supposed to look like all-star goalies for you because you're special. I do agree. Chevy does need to just suck it up. And don't wait. Address the public and let them know what you're doing. Trades are a little difficult, people. I mean, that's just the way it is. Okay, some things may start opening up as we go because, like, some teams are starting to realize where they might end up. Okay, and no, you can't just bring up whoever you want, whenever you want from the Moose, because some of them just aren't fucking ready for one thing. That's not your decision to make. You're not the ones who have to assess these guys. This is the National Hockey League. Okay, there's rules and regulations. They have 23 guys. Okay, yeah, just put everybody on waivers. Okay, no, wrong. Okay, that's called stupid hockey. And I'm glad some of you are not in charge. And as someone else gets on, right? Goalies for the first half a century of the what's now called the National Hockey League didn't even have proper protective gear, and they didn't have backups. And I get tired of all of you thinking that a human being who is playing a position that billions of people on this planet cannot play are like disposable fucking razors. Which is why I'm protective of younger goalies. Okay, yeah, they didn't even have backups. And in the early 2000s, there were teams where the goalies didn't even have a way to practice. Go listen to a bunch of interviews from goalies before you really start opening your mouth about how you would handle goalies. Granted, Commerce game went downhill fast. But it's win as a team, lose as a team. Now, Mark Scheifele, okay, listen, from everything that I heard from a bunch of different sources, the reason why Scheifele didn't make it is because they had a certain plan and they needed to fill certain roles. And Scheifele, the way that he plays, the way that he is, okay, right. That's not the role they were looking for. And there were others who could also play that role. Okay, I know he wanted to, but now that's over and he can just plain concentrate fully and wholly on his Jets game without any other kind of distraction, without any other, okay, you understand? Now he can just concentrate on Jets ice hockey. I mean, you understand? And he's got a team. He's gainfully employed. He plays in the National Hockey League. Okay. I'm sure this is not a huge crushing blow for him. Okay. I think tonight's game was a blow. But if you can't handle this shit, then you got the wrong sport. Or you need to stick with the AHL, or you need to, find a different hockey league to be a fan of. Okay, trades get made. You can't always see the fucking future, people. So, every single one of the GMs, okay, try to maneuver for the good of the team with a vision. of how things they want to shake up or how they want to build. And you got to have long range vision for that and the little steps in between. And there are times when, a guy will come in, people are excited, but the chemistry and the way the guy was brought up and the way the guy thinks, like he's unhappy and the team is having trouble. Sometimes that fucking happens, man. You don't know until you try. Suck it up, people. You cannot control what happens on NHL ice except for the fact that you go to a game and you stand up and you get online and you cheer for them and you help them battle through it. Someone got on the Winnipeg Jets postgame telling us, you people are a serious disgrace. You're not true fans. Look out. Okay, you don't have a right in any actuality, in truth and reality whatsoever to make that statement. Okay, a lot of people say a lot of things as though they know. Well, they don't know who's available. They don't know how much the contract is. Do you even know how much cap space there is? Okay, do you know what waivers means? Do you understand how waivers work? How many people are allowed legally on an NHL roster? Until you can answer that question, maybe you need to quit bitching and start cheering on the team a little more. How about you start sending us some good positive vibes, like you're going to turn it around. You're going to turn it around. Nyquist's going to score, right? The one you've been ragging on the hardest is the one you should cheer for the loudest. This is the National Hockey League. Hellebuck cannot play every single game. It is ridiculous for any of you to be moaning and whining about the fact that the backup played, because that's how it works in the National fucking Hockey League. Ehlers is gone. Nyquist is going to score a fucking goal soon, damn it. Yes, I do have one eye that is a little misshapen. Yeah, that's called having a stroke. Because I do know better. I've had years and years of experience. You understand? Like, there's some stuff, like, they could just keep on losing, and I'd still be like, all right, well, go Jets, go, There are good things. None of our guys are injured, thankfully. I mean, Shifley had a little iffy, but there's something to hang on to. Logan Stanley has been scoring goals, people. Zamilo got one in, trying to make up a couple maybe unnecessary penalties. We haven't been scored on shorthanded in quite a while. Sometimes it's nobody's fault. Do you honestly think that those guys aren't feeling pressure? They're putting the pressure on themselves, which is another reason why, yes, they might start tanking. Even worse. Embrace the tank. Embrace the tank. Okay, losers. That's a cheap loser mentality. These guys want to play to the best of their ability, night in and night out. when players get traded in the National Hockey League, they're gone. I don't care if you miss them. They're gone. You can't put half the team on waivers in the National Hockey League. Get over it. Don't be franchise killers. And don't be whining and moaning because Hellebuck didn't play tonight. Okay, a lot of you are reacting that way because you think you know better than everybody, and you think you can play better than everybody, and you think all kinds of crap in your head. And quite frankly, some of you probably couldn't even stand up on fucking skates. His numbers are going to look like that because of how few games he plays. Goalie stats are ridiculous. They don't properly represent goaltenders in the National Hockey League at all. But don't be coming on, oh, it's the goalie's responsibility. I'm like, goalie cannot practice. And even with practice, if they sit for too long and they become cold, they got to have a warm-up game, which is why I didn't want Comrie sitting on the bench any longer, and we sure as fuck don't want Hellebuck getting totally fucking worn out before the end of the goddamn season. His last two games, he was not as on point and perky and aware. And I'm sure that had something to do with how many consecutive games he played. It's ridiculous for you all to think that the backup goalie shouldn't play. Quit whining. Chevy should address the public. Trades may be very difficult. Okay, there are guys of contracts, you can't send them down. You can't trade them. You can't put them on waivers. Okay, no, this is not a rebuild. That terminology is incorrect entirely. We're not going to tear the whole thing down and start from scratch. Things do need to be done. But what if it's nobody's fault? You really want to blame it on somebody? Fucking blame it on me. I'm a goalie. It must be my fault. All right. Go Jets. Yeah, my health. I'm struggling. Battling. And yeah, a lot of you people don't know loss like I do loss. Mark Scheifele's going to be okay. He's got a team. He's got people he can talk to. You know, he's still got some family. He's still got a job in the NHL, and now he can just fully concentrate on that. Okay? These are pro athletes. If any of them are sitting around whining and moaning because the backup, who should play some of the games every season, that's the NHL, that's what fucking happens, then they shouldn't be in the National Hockey League. Okay, you guys, there's a lot of you. And again, I'm saying a lot of it comes from the fact that you can't control what happens on ice. and you think you know better than everybody. And I bet you maybe 1 in 10,000 of you know better. Teams can't practice. So that does make it more difficult for certain things. I mean, they're playing the right way, but they're also losing the right way. And you can take your fucking tank and you can shove it up your ass. Loser mentality. Don't be sending those fucking vibes over there. Sometimes Comrie's gonna play. Get over it. I don't have to be nice.